Hi, and welcome to another Terribly Fun Films review. As always, I'm your host, Bobby, and today we're looking at the UK-based action alien thriller Displaced. I'd never heard of this movie before. I randomly stumbled upon it at Second and Charles, I think it was. It might have been a different used movie store, but you get the idea. It sounded fairly interesting and was like $2 or $3, so I picked it up. Was it worth the money? Come with me as we find out. The plot sees Steele, a humanoid alien, teaming up with British soldier John Marriott. They then engage several other British soldiers and several members of the Core group, which is a British military group designed solely to deal with aliens. They are doing this fighting in order to uncover a downed alien ship that was holding Steele's father, Arakoa, who is now being held prisoner, and his ship is being held for research and study and that sort of thing. The cast sees Mark Strange as Steele and as the character Radius, and he's probably the best actor here. I'll get into more of my issues with the aliens in a moment, but as a very human, not even like gills or different colored skin or anything looking alien, he does do some interesting ticks and stuff that seem a little odd if he were human. As an alien, it kind of makes sense, and he's really, really good in the action scenes. He really holds his own there, and the few dramatic scenes that crop up, he's serviceable in. He's mostly solid. Then we have Graham Brunsmith as Wilson, one of the British soldiers, and he's alright, I guess. A little bland for me personally, but I've also felt like I've seen this kind of character a lot before, so it might not just be his performance. Malcolm Hankey plays the British soldier Steele teams up with John Marriott, and he's alright. He doesn't really convey a sense of awe or wonder that I think the character should, given what he's dealing with, what he's witnessing throughout the course of these events. But he, once again, holds his own in the action scenes. And this is a very action-heavy movie in its first third and its last third. So that's fairly important. But if your actors can't sell the drama and can't sell the world you're building, then I'm not sure if that's who should have been cast, no matter how good at the stunts and action they might be. Stephanie Finn plays Sienna, the assassin, and she's really good. The character's written very, very poorly, very bland. It's every cold-hearted government assassin type character you've ever seen before. But she has a very strong screen presence, and I liked a lot of her line deliveries, sort of snarky and dry, which was a lot of fun. Then we have Commander Santine, played by Patrice Krim, once again one of the commanders for everything going on, and he's alright. He gets a few really good lines that he like bellows out in sort of guttural anger that are a bit fun, but outside of that, not too convincing. And aside from some minor characters and some characters whose names I can't remember at all, that's basically it for your cast. No one's exceptional, but I've seen worse acting, so that's something, I guess. The movie was directed by Martin Holland and co-written by him and Carol Ann Strange, who came up with the concept for the film. Sadly, I feel like this is where a lot of the issues with the film are. Look, making a movie is hard. I understand it. The fact that they got out there and they wrote the entire thing, cast it, they filmed it, and they got it released is impressive. But within that, even in the realm of dumb B movies, this film looks cheap. The video quality and the quality of the camera they were using aren't the only issue. The sound suffers from the same things as the video, just the equipment they had. But the biggest thing is location, location, location. A lot of the movie is centered on a military base. It makes sense given the plot of the film. But the few times we branch out and see either alien worlds or the aliens interacting with things, it feels so small scale. Because the movie's biggest flaw are the aliens. There are two races of aliens. One is more evil than the other, I guess. The plot's a little too convoluted for its own good. Because we do begin on a very exposition-heavy prologue that I'd probably need to watch the movie again to totally get everything they were saying. However, both alien races look human. I don't mean humanoid. I don't mean, oh, they're like us but with green skin and spikes on the back or pointy ears. Look, guys, Jupiter Ascending's Channing Tatum wolf dog space pirate human character looks more like an alien than in your movie centered around two alien races. You've done messed something up big time. The alien world that we're shown is very boring. The aliens themselves are very boring. There's nothing about them aside from some easy in-camera effects and quick editing to make it look like they're a bit faster and can go invisible and that sort of thing. The normal humans, a bit faster than normal humans, and that they can go invisible, that sort of thing. There's nothing about them that screams alien. You could have replaced alien with superpowered human in some sort of technologically advanced ship that got shot down. Technologically advanced because they were smarter or able to figure something else out because of their superhuman powers. Them being aliens has nothing to do with anything in the movie, and the movie is so safe and plays it so safe it doesn't even take a political stance on anything. It's called Displaced. It's about aliens being illegally hunted and held by the military, by the government. And you do nothing with this concept political-wise. You don't make a statement. You're just this action film, and don't do anything with that. So you don't even get credit for ambition in that regard. It's very frustrating. Well, alright. We have a 2-minute exposition-heavy prologue. Once we actually get into the movie, things are going fairly well because it's mostly action. And despite the low quality of the video, the action is fairly good. It's clear most of these people are doing their own stunts, and sometimes you can see when the punches don't actually connect, or when things look a little too staged. But for the first 30-ish minutes, things are moving along really nicely, and they're fairly engaging, and the action is good. Not amazing, not great, but solid, entertaining. And I could see where the filmmakers were coming from in that regard. Then we have like what felt like 2 hours in the middle, maybe longer. It was probably only like 40-ish minutes, though, where everything just grinds to a halt. The alien Steele and Soldier John wind up at his family's house, so his wife, his kids, are hiding out there. And that's when we see the assassin trying to find them and that sort of stuff. It's so boring. It's so dull. It's... Again, the movie we're building towards a political message or stance of some kind. Try to tell a larger narrative within this framework. I mean, oh, they were trying to show off everyday life, what it's like, yada yada. Now, I shouldn't say that's what the filmmakers weren't going for. However, if it was, it does not come across on screen in any way, shape, or form. It's dull, it's frustrating, and it's awkward because the dialogue doesn't sound that natural, which is one of the reasons I feel the acting might have underwhelmed. A lot of the dialogue that doesn't directly involve giving orders doesn't have a natural rhythm or cadence. It's a bit stilted. Things pick back up in the third act, and once again, I don't like giving spoilers, so I'm trying to be vague. But this time, it's a lot of open fields as opposed to the kind of claustrophobic encounters in the various buildings on the base from earlier. And this does lend a nice, different feel to these action scenes at the end. But once the actual ending happens, I was so disappointed. I was left with a feeling, the sad feeling of, that's it? That's all they got? Because nothing happens at the end. I don't feel anything got accomplished. I don't feel that Steele and John did anything other than save one person. I don't feel that the military group core illegally holding the alien capture and the British government, who are of course in charge of core, get their comeuppance. And I don't feel like the story properly delivers on what they were telling us, what they promisingly were within the context of what they're doing. Because it's only okay action, only okay acting, only okay editing. It's bad quality audio and visually, and it's a standard, dull, boring script. So, you don't have a political statement to make, you don't leave any sort of lasting impression on your story as you don't properly finish it off, what's the point of watching this movie? If I was so disappointed in why I decided to review it, 99.8% of all my reviews will be things I like. Whether they're so bad they're good that I laugh at them, or whether they're B movies that are entertaining, or if they're a bigger bunch of movie that somehow fits into one of these realms. As long as I'm having fun with the film, that's okay. But occasionally I'll stumble across something like this, like Jurassic City, where it really could have been amazing. It really could have been something interesting and entertaining if the filmmakers drove it home more, if they spruced up the script a bit more and weren't so fucking serious all the time. The gritty, dark reboot seriousness that's infected WB since the beginning of Christopher Nolan's Batman films is one of the worst things to happen to movies, possibly ever, but definitely since Uwe Boll got on screen. You want levity. You want to look like you're having fun and enjoying yourself. That is an easy way for the audience to start enjoying themselves. But no, it's not what happens here. So I'm highlighting this movie to show you what disappointing B movies look like. I've highlighted some other films that aren't that good, especially in my Seeking Asylum reviews, where it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, doing their entire filmography. But every now and then, I feel we need a reminder that not all B movies are created equal. That not all B movies are just inherently fun by being low budget and having an interesting concept. And this is that reminder. I love B movies. They show me things I don't get in big budget films a lot of the time. And I always feel bad when I do a bad review for a film. Making a movie is hard work. I understand that. But you also need to know your audience. You need to know what you're looking for. You need to understand your story and your characters. And Displaced fails on all those levels. Which means, while it's not the worst film I've ever seen, it's an ultimately pointless experience. And because it's boring for about half its runtime. Pointless and boredom are the two worst sins a movie can commit. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.